Hello and welcome here to Talk Tennis, and welcome to my first tournament preview here on the channel, because we are going to be discussing today the ATP 500 event in Dubai, which gets underway on Monday. And I really hope here that this video will give you a good introduction to tennis tournaments there, that it will help you understand the way that they work, the seedings, the rankings, the prize money, and of course here today, learning more about the players, about the potential matchups that we could have to come this week. And I'm going to be giving you my full predictions for this tournament today. So we got so much to discuss. Get yourselves comfortable. I hope you're going to enjoy it. And let's do this. Because indeed, welcome here to Dubai, the ATP 500, which is the tournament level there below Grand Slam and also below Masters 1000. But 500s here are still extremely prestigious tournaments to get your hands on, because as you can see right here, guys, in terms of the full prize money breakdown and also the ranking points on offer for each stage of the tournament. So right there you can see a whopping $550,000 for the winner. But also what you will notice there is that, for instance, the round of 32, that's the first round of this tournament there beyond qualifying. First round defeat at this tournament would leave you with $22,000. So there's a big gap there, big difference between winning and, of course, going out in the first round in terms of prize money. It's also interesting to compare this tournament here with Acapulco in Mexico. That is another ATP 500 tournament that's taking place at the same time. So players there are free to sort of pick their tournaments depending on their schedule, where they want to be in the world. It also depends not only on prize money. You can see here that Dubai is a bit more than Acapulco, but it also depends on conditions, because for instance there in Mexico, really high humidity. Players who go there want to be fully comfortable playing in those conditions. They want to be used to those conditions, otherwise you will definitely suffer. So you might choose and opt there for the Dubai tournament to go with the Middle Eastern swing. Now the reigning champion of this tournament is none other than the Australian Open finalist from this year, Daniil Medvedev. And what a tournament it was last year here in Dubai. Absolutely stacked. That tournament, the final four included Medvedev, Djokovic, Andrey Rublev, and also Zverev in 2022. And this time around, the draw is very exciting too. Medvedev does return to defend his crown here in Dubai. He is the number one seed. So although he is fourth right now in the live rankings, he's the number one seed here because he's the highest ranked player in this tournament. So he goes in there at number one. Rublev is the number two seed in this tournament. Hurkacz, the Polish number one on the men's side, is number three. And Khachanov, winner just last week in Doha, comes in at number four. So that right there is how the draw stands. Those are all the players that are in the main draw in Dubai. And let's move in now to some of the predictions. Because the way that this is going to work is that I'm actually going to be selecting my picks in front of your very eyes there. I'm going to be selecting on screen. You're going to be seeing everything that I am doing. And let's start with Medvedev against Shevchenko. And I'm going to be opting there for Daniil Medvedev as the number one seed, as the Australian Open finalist. But I do just want to say, I don't believe it'll be an easy match for him. It is his first match back there. He missed tournaments in Rotterdam. He was defending a title there. He was also defending a title in Doha. Missed out there as well. And he did state that fatigue and a slight foot injury was to blame for his absences there. And it will be a tough match to come back into, because Shevchenko has been playing really well this year. Already got a big win in Rotterdam over Holger Rune, but I am going to be backing Medvedev in that one. And the next match for me, really intriguing one, because Sonego is the much more experienced player there. He's inside the top 50 in the world. He has also been higher than that. But Nagal, this is somebody to keep an eye on. He's the Indian number one player on the men's singles side, and his rise has been incredible over the past few months or so, because he was very close actually to quitting the game. He was struggling to support himself financially, couldn't really see a way that he was really going to make it, and since then he's gone on a great run, now in the top 100, which is the place to be in the tennis world. And I'm actually going to back him. He's got a wild card here into this draw. I'm going to back him for a big upset over Sonego. And up next we do have Jakub Mensik against Borna Coric. And by the way, Mensik is a player to watch. He had an explosion onto the scene last week in Doha. He beat so many top players to get to the final. Nobody expected expected him even maybe to win one match at that tournament. He went all the way to the final, beating the likes of Khachanov, Andy Murray, Andrey Rublev. A top 5 win there. Monfils in the semi-final, and then just lost out in the final to Karen Semensik. He's on fire right now. Coric may struggle to live with him, and I'm going to go for another big win, although he will have to recover physically for Jakub Mensik. Then we do move on to Fabian Marozsan, who is certainly capable of some big tennis on his day. He's had a few big scalps in his career so far, and also there Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, the number 8 seed. And by the way, that man will always give you drama. Many of his matches there go all the way to sort of final sets, tiebreakers, always dramatic stuff when it comes to Fokina, and he certainly needs a win to get his confidence back going this season, to make some strides forward, and I'm going to back there Fokina to get the win. Then we move on to a really big serving clash between Hubert Hurkacz and Jan-Lennard Struff of Germany. Hurkacz is absolutely formidable there, not only in terms of his serve, but he's such a really good, solid, all-round player, established now in the top 10, 2-time Masters champion is he, and I'm going to back him to get underway here with a victory over Struff. Then we have a qualifier there, somebody who's come through the qualifying stage at this tournament to make it all the way to the main draw, so they've already had experience on these courts, they've already understood the conditions, and for that reason, I'm going to back another player here, another upset here, a qualifier. I'm going to back Martira over O'Connell because of having a little bit more match practice ahead of that one, before we do have then a bumper tie in this first round between Denis Shapovalov and Andy Murray, two extremely experienced players, and two players there that are trying to get back to their best level. Shapovalov actually ended this tournament on a protected ranking. That was when he got injured last season, and he's now getting into tournaments based on the ranking he was before he suffered that injury. And Andy Murray got his season underway in Doha, his first win of the season, and I'm actually surprised here these two have only met each other twice overall. It's 1-1 right now on the head-to-head, and I'm going to be backing here Andy Murray. I think he showed some good stuff, good signs there in Doha. He lost to Mensik, but of course there's no disgrace in that now, so Shapovalov for me might miss out, even though he is in desperate need of wins, before an all-French tie does await us there in round 1, and it's a familiar one. Gael Monfils, he's using a wild card to get in here, and Hugo Humbert, the number 5 seed, he's been on a brilliant run the past few months. He really has such good quality in his performances there to really rise up the world rankings. And it's interesting because these two actually played each other on Thursday in Doha. Monfils came out in that match with a straight sets victory, but I'm actually going to back Humbert in this one. I think it's going to be the complete opposite to what their previous meeting was, because Monfils went deep in that tournament in Doha. I think it did affect him physically. He can't play the amount of matches maybe that he used to, and Humbert for me will get the upper hand. We're going to go with him there. I think Bublik will get the victory over the qualifier there. Bublik is somebody who can give you entertainment. He is unpredictable. You don't really know what to expect from him, but again, a big serve, big game. He's certainly got the ability to go far again in this tournament this week. I'm also going to be backing Griekspoor over the wild card there. Shalbaya, who's got a big opportunity here in a main draw. He's actually ranked outside of the top 200 there, the 20-year-old, but I think Griekspoor's been playing some good tennis in recent weeks. Did really well there at his home event in Rotterdam, and I think he will get the victory here. I'm also going to be backing Lehechka in round 1 here against Fucsovics, but that will not be an easy match at all. Marton does not give anything away. He is a real powerhouse there, and it's not going to be an easy match for Lehechka, especially given that Fucsovics has come through qualifying, but I'm going to go with the talented Jiri Lehechka. Before then, we have Popyrin against Karen Khachanov, and this is interesting as well, actually, because just like with Monfils and Humbert, these two played each other days ago as well, and in that time, it was Khachanov who came out on top in the semi-final stage, 7-6 in the first set, really close one, 6-2 in the second. Karen actually leaves this matchup 3-1 on the head-to-head, so I'm going to go there with Khachanov to win against Popyrin, before we do then have the number 6 seed Adrian Manarino, the Frenchman. And this guy is an unorthodox player. You know, the way that he strikes the ball, the way that he moves, even the way that he dresses. He doesn't actually have a clothing sponsor. He turns up as though maybe he's heading to the gym, and yet he plays incredible tennis. He is a really tricky player to face, and even now at the age of 36, he's at a career high ranking inside of the top 20 and playing some absolutely brilliant stuff. And Botic van der Zandschulp, not an easy opponent, capable on his day of a big performance, even though he has slipped down now 75 in the rankings. He has been as high as 22. And although Van der Zandschulp does have the better head-to-head record, 3-1 he actually leads against Mannarino here, I am going to go with Mannarino to get the win over Botic this time, before we then move on to Pavel Kotov against Sebastian Korda. And Korda for me is a player who I always watch him and I think, okay, is now going to be his breakout. Is this the moment where he actually takes it upon himself to go on a real run, to rise up the rankings in rapid fashion? Because he's got so much quality about his game. He's got an element as well of calmness. He's got so much family background, of course, in sports too. They all understand what it means to win and play at the top level. And Korda for me here, he's capable of definitely winning this matchup. Kotov is a good player. He's also got some wins this year. You know, he's won against the likes of Sonego, Rinderknecht, and also Musetti. Some big victories there for him. But I am going to go here with Sebastian Korda, who needs to put together a run to sort of match the talent and the quality that he has. Which, speaking of talent and quality, Lorenzo Musetti, he is another player there with a lot of potential. I absolutely love his single-handed backhand, which unfortunately is a shot there in tennis that is dying out now as the years go on. But Musetti, he's got the ability, he's got the potential. Obviously a better player suited there to clay. This surface here is hard, so this is not his forte, but he's capable of winning this matchup here against the qualifier from France. I'm backing Musetti to get the win. Before we do finish off the round one matchups there, with Zhang up against Andrey Rublev, the second seed, and you would expect here Rublev to take care of Zhang, because certainly Zhang is a difficult opponent. He can certainly come up with some big tennis on his day, but Rublev is usually so consistent there, particularly against players that are ranked lower than he is. He usually deals with them. That is why it was such a big upset last week with Menchik beating Rublev, but I would expect him here to bounce back. He is the second seed, and he is the heavy favourite in that one. So that completes there the round one matches, and we do now move on to the next stage of the tournament, which is the round of 16. So all of those that won in the round of 32, they're now through. They will face off against each other. So you've got right here Daniil Medvedev then against Sumit Nagal, the wildcard, like I say, Indian number one. For me though, Medvedev would definitely have too much in that matchup there in terms of experience, in terms of the ability to outlast most opponents that he plays. Medvedev has the quality there. Gonna back him, of course. And then for me, I think Fokina might have the edge over Menchik, despite how good he was last season. And Menchik really could have come up against anybody and given them a game. I think the physical demand there of going all the way to the final, he might get through that first round match, but as the tournament goes on, he's not used to playing a lot of high-level tennis there, day upon day, week upon week. So I'm going to go with Fokina, the number 8 seed, to get that win. Then definitely Hubert Hurkacz for me. I think he's going to enjoy these conditions well. Serving certainly out here is going to work well for him. He's going to get the win over Marta, the qualifier. Murray against Hubert should be a good matchup there, but you would expect, based on current form and the way they've handled themselves over the past few months, Hubert is very much on the rise, playing some really, really good stuff. So I would back there the number 5 seed. Bublik, I think, would have enough against Griekspoor, although Griekspoor, he's going to make it difficult for him. He's going to make Bublik work for that, and that might be tricky sometimes. Bublik, he can't quite get it together in his head. He can lose his cool. You might see him break a few rackets, that's for sure, but I am going to go with the number 7 seed to progress there before I'm then going to back an upset. I believe, again, looking at last week, looking at the demands in Doha, Karen went all the way, lifted the title, great week for him, but again, it's tough to do it week upon week. It's tough to then back it up with another deep run the next week. So I'm actually going to go here with Lehechka to get a surprise win against Khachanov. I think Lehechka, he's got a lot of quality, really, really has, and he could make a deep run in Dubai this week, in my opinion. But then it's a real close one. It is a very, very tough call when you're looking at Mannarino against Seb Korda, because everything I've just said there about Korda, he's got the ability to go far in this tournament. Mannarino, though, is going to make your life difficult. You are going to have to play well. You're going to have to consistently do it. He's going to ask different kinds of questions of you, and it's an awkward player to play. Not many people will enjoy playing against Mannarino, but I am here just going to lean towards Korda. He could get a big victory over somebody there who's higher in the rankings than him, and he may progress to the quarterfinal, in my opinion. And I would expect Andrey Rublev to beat Musetti, who hasn't been firing on all cylinders so far this season. Rublev, like I say, very consistent. Again with him, it's about handling those emotions. It's about overcoming adversity. Again, sometimes with him, things can get to him, things can upset his level, but I would expect him to beat Musetti and book his place in the quarterfinal, which would then leave us with Daniil Medvedev coming up against Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, and that would be a really exciting game. I think that would be a very, very fun match to watch, but again, you can't really look anywhere other than Medvedev. Obviously assuming that he is going to be fully fit, that he is going to be fully ready to take on this tournament, which we're believed is to be the case. I think he is ready for this, and I think he will make it to the semi-final there, overcoming Davidovich Fokina in the quarters. Hubert against Hubert, that's a tricky one to call. Very different game styles in some ways. I think Hubert, like I say, he's certainly really riding a good wave right now. He's on a very much an upward trajectory, but I'm still backing Hubert here. I do think he does like this tournament. He can play well here. That serve is going to be so effective, and I'm going to back him to reach the semi-final over the 5th seed Hubert. And again, guys, I'm still backing Hurkacz here. I really do feel as though he is primed. He is ready to have a good week in Dubai. I think he's going to overcome Bublik to make it to the semi-final stage. And then Korda against Rublev. I'm still going Rublev. I'm still believing here that he's going to take care of business, that he's just going to get rid of what's in front of him, and he too enjoys the conditions in Dubai. He played really, really well here over many, many years, and Rublev, for me, will make it to the semi-finals, which would then look as follows. And I think this would be a great semi-final stage. Medvedev up against Hubert. That is a fantastic matchup. That is something that can really provide a lot of drama. Those will be really tight sets. We saw that very recently at the Australian Open. So little to separate those two. And then Jiří Lehečka up against Andrey Rublev. That would be a good matchup, and Lehečka has actually beaten Rublev in his career. That's one that certainly wouldn't be an easy match for Rublev at all. But honestly, guys, I really can't see anything else. Looking at the way this tournament has panned out, looking at the way the draw has gone, I think we will see a repeat final of last year. I think it's going to be the two great friends. Rublev is actually the godfather to Medvedev's child, and I think they're going to meet in the final again in Dubai. Medvedev up against Rublev, but the question is who's going to win it, because you do know here that Medvedev has a brilliant head-to-head record against his great friend. Rublev for such a long time was unable to compete really against Medvedev. He had every answer to him, because obviously when you're playing against Medvedev, he's somebody that really does sit back in the court. You look at his return position on serve, he is so deep, and that means that really the best players against Medvedev are the ones that can follow that serve in, that can approach the net, that feel very comfortable there in the forecourt. That's not really Rublev. He has so much talent, so much ability, but the one thing that he lacks really is the confidence to consistently move forward, and that is why Medvedev often has the edge in the matchup. He can rally with him, he can play from the back of the court to his heart's content, and Rublev struggles to find the answers against Medvedev, and I do fear for him that it might be the same in this one, except for if Medvedev wasn't really feeling so great towards the end of the week, because like I say, this is his first tournament back since the Australian Open, so he will be lacking there a bit of match sharpness, and depending on how the week goes, maybe as it goes on, maybe as he works his way through the tournament, he will gain that sharpness again. He will certainly feel comfortable out there on the court, and then he'd be ready for this final. But if he wasn't, Rublev can take advantage. Rublev is capable of beating Medvedev in the right circumstances, on the right service. This is one here that he can win, but will he? That is the very big question. I am leaning towards Medvedev if it was a final between the two of them, but I would give Rublev chances. I think he will have learned from last year's final, which was quite one-sided there. He wasn't able to compete in the way that he wanted to. Rublev now will be wanting to improve against Medvedev. He will want this title, but will he get it? I am just about going with Medvedev here, but I want to know what you think. I really do want to know here, looking at the players that are in this draw, looking at the way the draw may indeed turn out. Who are you looking at making a surprise run? Who are you hoping here could have a really good week in Dubai? And looking at the Final Four, who would you predict would make it all the way to the semi-final stage? Please do let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below there. Who is going to win this tournament? Who is going to make it far? And who is going to surprise us in this ATP 500 event? Please do let me know all of your predictions down below, and I really do hope here that you have enjoyed what has been a long video. It has been a very long, detailed look at this tournament. We've gone over every potential match. All we've got to do now is sit back and wait and see if my predictions, any of them, turn out to be true. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video here. Thank you to all of you who've made it to the end. That is massive, massive support. I really appreciate that. Please like if you have enjoyed. Please share this with your friends, maybe those that like tennis. And I will see you very soon here with lots more on the way, right here on Talk Tennis.